this is a it's another what do you call it, like a another installment. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm making like a little series, random thoughts when I open my eyes, and thoughts before I close my eyes. You know, it's bedtime now, so I'm about to go to bed, but some things have come up. I'm scrolling the timeline, chilling. You know what I'm saying? And the dark arts and the fake tarot readers that's come up. And so here's my thoughts on that. You know, some people are just there for the money. They're not under dominion of any type of entity. They really think that this is what they're supposed to be doing, and they're like, "This is the way to get money." And you know, like they're innocent, so to speak, and they're not trying to hurt anyone. They think they're helping. I've seen some of those in my time. Um, then you've got um, then you got the really dark readers. They really are dark. Um, what I consider some of them to be is dark empaths, and that doesn't mean that every dark empath is bad, um, but they seem to fall in line with that, and they are completely in dominion uh, and under the direction of entities. They are they have entity attachments. You can hear it in their voices. You can see it if if they find themselves on camera, which will be rare. You can see it in their eyes. And I know for a fact, you know, you can thank me now. Um, I listed off a whole bunch of readers, and there are a few readers in there that are definitely under dominion and have directly attacked me. I'm gonna say it again. There are some readers on that list. That's a 4-part series. You can thank me now, where I list all the readers that I had listened to over the course of 2 years. And it didn't necessarily mean that I listened to them every day or anything like that. Like I might have just listened to them once, which is why I have this opinion where, because I can easily see the person that is not called to do it, thinks they're helping, versus the person that is under dominion, versus the person that they are being called to do it, yada yada. There's plenty of different categories that readers fall into, okay? And even knowing that some of them are under dominion, I still watch them. Why? Just because you're under dominion of an entity that I'm in dominion over. That's why. The Bible says the person with pure intentions has use of the Spirit without limit. I'm not afraid of you. You are not creating any chaos for me, just for you. And perhaps others who don't have that level of discernment yet. Me, not so much. All right. Have I had issues? Absolutely. Absolutely. But not to the extent that you think. So, that's my random thought on that. Excuse me. Oh, there was two things that came up as well. All right, so I'm also supposed to tell you about a time in which I found that I was being recorded. Um, so one of the things that I would watch, um, I would watch that girl's kids. I call her girl instead of woman because that's how she's emotionally immature. She's a girl. 444. Um, I would watch this lady's children when she went to go do laundry. From time to time, and you know, you I've actually seen every time that Aaron was not with me, pretty much, because I did a reading once, and he was at the park with her. Um, when I got the ticket in Ohio, he was with her while I was doing laundry. But those, and right before my birthday, I went to go visit a prospect for dating, but nothing ever happened between us. So I'm pretty sure that she told someone somewhere that I slept with that guy, but I didn't. Just in case, we just covering all bases. I didn't sleep with that guy in April. We just talked, and it was a very intense talk, um, and not even about dating, about this spiritual realm shit. Okay, so in total, I have left Aaron like 4 times, because then I also left them a couple times when I went grocery shopping. But she would do the same thing. The difference between us is how long I can't. I didn't ever trust her, so I could not leave for an extended amount of time. Okay. Oh, and there was one more time. That time that I said that I was yelling in the car. Aaron was with her then too. All right, but this is important because, okay, get back to the point. One day she left to go do laundry, and she was gone for a very long time. And she would occasionally check in. Um, like, oh, I'm sorry it's taking so long. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. But this particular day, the boys were just like really not getting along. When she comes back, um, I am folding clothes with her. I'm helping her fold her clothes, and the boys erupt into a full-on fist fight. Her son being the main aggressor. Okay, I split them up. Then her daughter starts crying, and like just a lot is going on. And so at this point, I've already been with the kids for like 4 hours. I have not gotten any space myself. I'm assisting with chores, and I just yell at everybody to shut up. Shut up! Everybody shut up, or I'm gonna start spanking butts. And her son's like, but spanking is mean. And I'm like, I don't care. Just shut up. And they did all shut up. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as all that yelling was done, the little sound went off. That's an example. That's an example. Okay. After I went several hours breaking up a multitude of micro fights because her child has no respect. The reason, and I don't like talking poorly of children, because a child is a reflection of a parent to some degree. Okay, we've already discussed that a child views themselves as an extension of their parent, and you're to teach them to be an individual. Recently, she had mentioned that her child was having trouble in school. Um, his teacher would redirect him, and he was doing fine, and then all of a sudden he wasn't. Well, I can tell you, based on observation, the reason it's not working is because she doesn't redirect. She doesn't teach him how to use kind words. She doesn't teach him how to do any of that. So since she doesn't, the parent, he's an extension of his parent at this point, because he's not an individual yet. So everything the teacher's doing, everything I'm doing, it all is overridden by his parent and his main, because the parent creates the inner critic, the parent creates that personality up until a certain point where he splits and becomes himself. So that's why my child and her child were constantly fighting. Aaron's totally different. Totally different. But after several hours of dealing with that, I just lost my shit. And that would happen. That I actually had another incident with him where this is actually where I decided to write to, excuse me, write in May, because I watched him, and anytime I would say anything, he would, no, that's a lie. You're not telling the truth. But I don't have a reason to lie to a 6-year-old. Okay, I'm telling the truth. I'm 30 fucking years old. um, and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But this constant, like, you couldn't ever say anything to him. Everything you said was wrong, and this is a sign of being on the spectrum to some degree. Okay, but there's also a different type that mimics being on the spectrum and is a behavioral disorder as a result of this shit that I'm talking about. Okay, you have a passive aggressive parent, it breeds shit like that. Okay, but anyways, so I actually went off on him and lectured him for like 20 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I can't watch your child anymore. Because I've had a lot of patience, and I have to have patience for my own child on top of your child. And it wasn't beneficial. And I don't want to damage anybody's child. So that's like when I really was trying to break away. And so then we just, slowly stopped hanging out as much. But then it would get right back into that tone. So I was supposed to mention that because that's a backstory. I know some people have heard that. That's the backstory to that. I know you heard that. That's the backstory. And if I ever did hear it, it was a very similar situation almost every time. Like, just hours and hours of being with her children, being with my children, well, my child, and like Aaron wants to stay because he just enjoys being social. He's not in school. He's with his mother all day. I understand him not wanting to like leave and trying to work it out. But I mean, like, her child would yell at my. Aaron would just like play with his toy and he didn't want to share it. And instead of being like, I don't want to share, Aaron is a terrible child. I mean, he was just like going off on my son. Well, that obviously makes Aaron feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? As it would. And he tries to defend himself. And when Aaron tries to, and he doesn't even hit him or anything, he'll just be like, I'm not bad. I'm not bad. And that child would start beating his ass. Okay? This is the type of shit that we were dealing with her child. And so then after you do that like 4 or 5 times, you lose your patience with it. That's normal. Okay? And so to like, I know what kind of I know what kind of vibe she was trying to pass me off as, of like not having any like boundaries with her children, which I did have far more patience. It takes a lot to have patience with children that are experiencing that, and I was able to display that 99% of the time. And when I felt like I wasn't, I was always able to tell her like, oh, yeah, I'm not into that. We need a break. We need a break. Like, constantly, we need a break. We need a break. We need a break. Like, because I'm not here to harm anyone's children. I'm not their parent. Yelling at them isn't fair. Like, but even then, her children still had respect for me because I made them feel secure. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, when we get into gentle parenting, I read an article. I wish I would have planned a trajectory to speak on it, but when we talk about gentle parenting and like um, refocusing and doing all that stuff, right? One of the biggest things is that you only have to maintain that 50% of the time. Um, when you put pressure on yourself to be 100% gentle parenting all the time, it explodes in your face. Do you want to be 100% maybe one day, but when you're starting off, aim for 50%. So 50% is, you could literally explode on your child, yell at them, lose your temper, all that stuff 3 times a week. And that child would still feel secure and attached properly, as a result, if you then have, because 3 times a week, yelling at your child 3 times a week, do you know how many times? God, Aaron goes off like 3 times a day because I'm trying to get him off the phone, right? He's like addicted to the phone. I've mentioned that. You've seen it. He comes in here asking for the phone at like 9 in the morning and shit. Even though There's been very rare times in which he gets the phone at that hour, but for some reason he still tries. Okay. When he does that, he goes off. He goes off and he freaks out, and he does this like 3 times a day. Okay. And only about twice a week do I ever like, oh, okay, that's enough. That's enough. And sometimes I don't do it at all because I've definitely come from a very different space. Okay. Um, but those 2 times a week do not ruin the child's security, especially if you're able to be like, you know what, I wasn't supposed to yell at you. I'm so sorry I did that. You know what I'm saying? The day that I went off on her son, I actually did apologize to him, and later that day he came and he gave me a hug. You know what I'm saying? It's about letting them see your human side. You're human. You make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You make mistakes, but you only need 50% in order to convey a message to a child that their feelings are valid and important to you, and that you intend to be, kind. Um, so, you know, I don't. So imagine like dealing with that type of temperament from her children. uh, Literally, my battery was being drained, but I was trying to show her the ropes. She just wasn't fucking getting it, and then use those moments in which I was completely depleted to record. But that's how they work. That's how narcissists work. It's a strong word to call her a narcissist. I'm pretty sure she is, though. That's what you call a covert narcissist. um all their all their all their stuff is like passive aggressive. Very much put me in mind of my daughter's dad. And I'll even give another example of passive aggressive behavior. Okay, my daughter calls, and he'll he only does this at particular specific times. Okay, but he'll intentionally interrupt the phone call. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But he doesn't do it all the time. It's just when he's mad. I can tell when he's mad. He's not one to really display his emotions because that's kind of like the psychopathic, sociopathic way not to show that you're agitated. It all comes out in a passive aggressive manner. So when he's agitated with me or he's upset, he becomes very passive aggressive in that way. All right, so that's an example. Uh, let's see. Then there was one more thing, but it's left my mind now. Oh, Y'all want to know what? It's funny that I keep using his real name because he's like really the only person that I've used his name like a lot. It's Darlene. Darlene. Y'all want to know what Darlene did? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you this. Me and Darlene was talking. Uh, I can't. It was like I don't even know when it was. To be honest with you, so much shit has happened over the course of this last year. I can't remember when we started talking. It was shortly after that Darlene video. Like, I said, Darlene, I don't know where you are. I love you. And then my algorithm put them in my shit, and we started talking again. Um, and we were talking, having a great time. It was like we never split. Okay. He's been a friend of mine, but I remember saying something in a video, and being like, you can have a long distance friend and they could be a serial killer, and got a little ding, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's what he is or anything like that, but the facts are me and Darlene have never met in real life. Um, we've never met in real life. We've just only ever been friends on the phone and through texting and through social media, okay? So, um, I don't really know what he's like, But he and I were talking. Oh, when I sit and I gave y'all the setup and I told you about where everybody's from and all that stuff. Darlin is also, he lives in Texas, but he's also from Maryland. He's actually, not only is he from Maryland, he's like around the area. He, wait, no, his mother is from Maryland. He was like in Virginia. He was in the DMV area. That's where he's originally from. Like when I first started talking to him, that's where he was living. Okay. And when I like look into a background check and like do like look into where his last addresses were, they were very close in proximity to someone else. Okay, so here was the problem. Here's what he did. Since I'm just telling my business, here's what he did. Um, he didn't do anything specific that I know of. Okay, but he did lie to me about an arrest. He told me it was for something. When I looked into it, it was for something else. That was the first thing. He kept trying to convince me to get an OnlyFans. And at first I was like, flattery. Right? Because he's always had a thing for me. He wanted to marry me at one point. And he's one of the people in which I've declined and not moved for. He was very upset when I moved to Maryland because he felt like I was moving for the man of the hour, which was never the case. And I've shown that. But that's how he felt. He was very upset. But it doesn't matter. He was talking to me. Well, when we would talk, y'all remember that little black cat? When we would talk, that black cat would come around and it would be meowing outside my window. I'm like, what the fuck? I would look, and it would literally be looking me in my fucking eyes and meowing all loud. Meow, 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 meow. Like, the fuck? And this is happening when I'm talking to Darlene specifically. And so this happens so often. One particular day, the cat literally jumps onto my air conditioning unit and is trying to get into my home. It's clawing on my windows. Okay? Meow, 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 meow. I'm like, fuck, what? This is crazy, bro. So I break out my cards. You know what the cards said? What is the problem? Why is this cat fucking bothering me? It's because this fucking little page here, referring to Darlin, was spying for the Queen of Cups. That is what the message was. It was a Page of Cups, Page of Swords, Queen of Cups. And one of them was like in reverse. Oh, okay. And then I had said something about not trusting this other lady who is also happens to be a water sign as well, but I said something about not trusting her, and he's like, geez, I hope that means you don't trust, like you have trouble trusting me. I was like, oh no, it's cool. But then like I get in the car with her maybe 5 hours after that, and she says the same thing. I was like, dang, I really feel like I find it interesting that he lied to me about his record. Like, why would he ever lie to me? She was like, that's really crazy. Like, now I don't know if I can trust him because that's not what he said. And she was like, oh wow, I hope that doesn't mean, I'm like, oh, okay, well. He did actually live very, very close to the man of the hour the last time that he lived in Maryland. And so that was a concerning fact, but it wasn't him. It was her. He said he had a sugar mama who was she had a very interesting pairing that I've only heard of one other person having, and that person is connected to the man of the hour. So, there's no such thing as coincidences. It could have very well been a coincidence, but I don't know. So those are the random thoughts that are on my mind tonight before I close my eyes. I officially am over, like, not talking about the girl anymore, but I was told to mention what it looked like when she was recording me, like what kind of scenario, what was I experiencing during that time, and then just a random, I've been thinking about darling. You know, I'm lonely. I miss some of the people that I truly love, like all these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really frustrating because I don't like being lied to. I don't like, um, you know, being recorded. I don't like that stuff. And so I had to let go of people for really petty things. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have told me the truth. Any of you could have told me the truth. Now he got me over here sitting by myself, which is a common occurrence, but it gets old, motherfucker. I'm 34. When do I get to live life? Like, I have never. I just. I'm tired, I guess. This is tiring. This is tiring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know. It's not that I don't know myself, but like, it's been so long since I've like done anything. You know, what could I do? I'm gonna journal that. Y'all have a good night.